Okay, so it's been a few days since I've recorded a video. I did just record a video, but it got a bit long and I kind of waffled a little bit. But yeah, so a lot has happened. A lot of trades have happened. I haven't not made a video because I haven't traded. I haven't done an update on any trades because, well, I was just clicking buttons and I made a lot of mistakes. And what ended up happening was we actually ended up liquidating an account, unfortunately. So we're now onto our third eval account. The liquidate, it was just terrible. It's just the same thing as always, just clicking, over trading, etc., etc. But I am really feeling a lot better. As much as I liquidate the account, I'm feeling a lot better with trading. I'm feeling like things are starting to click, right? Things are starting to go in the direction that I kind of want them to be going. And I just need to kind of discipline myself a little bit more in terms of certain situations. So I'm not going to go over all the trades that happened. I will just go over a quick recap. So ended up entering a trade. I was up till 4 a.m. Unhealthy, not great, just addiction to the charts really was the issue. And I was in a trade for about 4 hours and I just watched it the whole time instead of just sleeping and leaving the targets on, and just I ended up watching it. It ended up hitting my target, but I took the targets off, put them higher, and then I ended up letting it literally retrace all the way back and stop me out break even, which was just insane. I don't know how I managed to do it, but yeah, just an issue. So then I took the day off the day after because it was a Saturday. Sorry, no, it was Friday the day after, and this is where we just started clicking buttons. We went crazy. We just clicked buttons and we ended up liquidating the account. We was just gambling on the 1 minute time frame and hoping that the price went in that direction, basically, right? So yeah, since the previous videos that I've uploaded, my strategy has changed a lot for a good reason. Not a good reason, but in a good way. Like, I'm liking this strategy a lot more. It feels more like me, like it's clicking, it's making sense to me, and it's just going in my favor. I'm not having to be in trades for hours or days and then watching them retrace, just getting super depressed and being annoyed. Like, impatience is one of my problems. Now, you can either fix the patience, which is obviously always a good thing, or in my case, what I've decided to do is kind of trade on the lower time frame and allow my impatience to kind of not be as much of an issue, right? Now, obviously, there can still be issues forming just due to me over trading and being impatient, waiting for another entry, etc. But I think this is the best way to combat it, is to just kind of allow myself to get involved in the market a little bit more because of the lower time frames, just with discipline and the right rule set, right, and just make a positive EV trading strategy out of it. So PopCat, this is the trade we just took. I will not tell you the results because obviously it's a lot of fun to. It's a bit boring if you know the result, obviously. So what ended up happening was PopCat has obviously been one of the most bearish coins on the market lately, dropping this massive daily level up at the 120s area and deviating back inside and rejecting just heavily. Like, from that deviation, we dropped almost 50% in just like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So super bearish. A lot of people are thinking, oh, we should be buying it super cheap. No, the chart's chalked. It's absolutely garbage. Like, you need to give it a lot more time before it starts doing anything. It's like Fetch, right? Fetch had a massive run up to like $3-4, and then it kind of died down to 110, and everyone was thinking, yeah, it's time to buy. It's going to 2x for its works, blah blah blah. And it just never has. It's just kind of consolidated and done nothing. So I'm expecting PopCat to do the same. But in the short term, I'm expecting a lot of dead cat bounces that literally just retrace exactly like this one, right? We got this massive push to the upside, back 35%. And then this dead cat bounce just ended up retracing almost the entire move. Before now, what I was doing is expecting it to do the same thing. Getting above this level without seeing any sort of red candle on the hourly is just super unhealthy for price action, which tells me that if we do start to consolidate up here and show any weakness, I'm just expecting a deviation and a pushback to the downside, right? So unfortunately, because I've done this, it's actually showing you the future candle, so you do know that the trade goes in our favor. It was a really good trade from us. A $20,000 position size, that's what we've been doing on the accounts now. We've just been looking to basically one bang or two bang the evaluation stage of the account. So we started the balance on 9,600 today, 9,700, sorry, because I did run up the account to $10,500 a couple of days ago, and then I ran it back down to $9,600 in a couple of hours. But like I said, we kind of reset from there and just kind of try to get ourselves in a better headspace and a better strategy, and etc. So it's a Sunday today. I usually don't like to trade Sundays. I usually like to try and do other things, but this trade just looked too good to me. So what I was seeing on Bitcoin was this really kind of weak-ish looking consolidation on the lower time frames above support, just only slightly above support, right? But also creating lower lows and just a lot of wicks on the hourly and just showing a bit of weakness. And then what I look for usually is some sort of indication to tell me that we're going to go to the lowest, to the bottom, to the direction of my choosing, right? Which today was shorting. And what I saw was that these lows were untapped, right, on the bottom here. So this one specifically, this one, and this one doesn't really count. But I saw that this level is probably going to get hunted at some point, even if it's a 0.5% move to the downside. Alts just kind of react fivefold, so especially the weak ones. So on top of that, I also saw that we had this hammer candle here. So we were creating these slight higher highs, and then we kind of created a lower low. If you go based off of the candle close or a double bottom or whatever you want to call it, and then we created this nice 15-minute hammer candle as a lower low. And that was enough indication for me to say, yep, okay, the buyers are getting a little bit bored here, they're not buying, and we're probably going to look for a downside movement. So I went over to PopCat, and I started to see that it made this absolutely beautiful resistance line right here, right? You can see these wicks, absolutely beautiful, and it saw this candle to the upside. And again, we're focusing for short, so we're looking for any sort of reason for it to fake out or break down or close back below this resistance level, which is exactly what happened on the 15-minute, which obviously then correlates to the 5-minute as well. And you can see that these candles are super bearish. Now, we don't just want to enter on this 5-minute candle close, right? Because we have just had a quick little sweep of 2% to the downside. We are waiting for any sort of green to then start shorting into. So my entry should have been within one of these 2-minute candles here, or one of these 1-minute candles here, right? And we would have had a much better entry by about 0.8%, which would have made us an additional $160, because again, we're trading with $20,000 position size, right? So that already was a little bit of a mistake, but it's fine. We had a second opportunity to do it, so it came back down here, and for some reason I just entered. I don't know why. I just entered after another 1.2% to the downside without any sort of green candle. You always want to be entering on a green candle if you're shorting and a red candle if you're longing, right? That's just one of the things you need to be doing in these low time frame scalping kind of strategies. So poor entry, but luckily it was fine. We entered on this candle here and it pushed against us 0.6% literally immediately. We instantly were in the red by like $120, which is so bad, and I can't like explain to you how bad it is, because it's one of the points where you get into this kind of weird mindset of, oh dear, like I can't close now, it's already in my red and I want it to go, like, I can't just close instantly, it doesn't make any blah blah blah. You know, that's why you always want to be shorting on a green candle, because if it pushed up and it started to wick here, or if it pushed up here and it started to wick down, I enter, right, and it stays there for about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds, something around that region, you can just close and then wait a little bit longer for a little bit more of a confirmation to the downside, then you can enter, right? Again, right, you can take a little bit of a fee, maybe a little bit of a loss, but that's fine. However, when you enter and it instantly goes against you and you're down 0.6%, it becomes immediately 20 times harder to want to close the position, because it hasn't even given you any downside triggers yet, right? So that was a big issue from me. Luckily, we did push back to the downside basically immediately after anyway, so we were kind of not as stressed at the beginning anyway. So then we just started to have this really nice downtrend that we were expecting from PopCat, and we just started to just go down only, which was really nice. So again, I started to see that Bitcoin was doing exactly what I wanted, pushed to the downside, broke this level. And on a Sunday, a big thing I'm going to mention is on Sunday is liquidity levels, right? A lot of people enter and trade liquidity levels. If it sweeps, they'll want to be like sweeps to the lows, they'll want to be longing and getting back in the range and trading to the top of the range. However, on Sundays, I've noticed that almost every single time a low or a liquidity level is taken, it doesn't have the volume or the liquidity to get back up inside and push higher. So it usually just continues in that direction, which is one of the biggest reasons as to why I wanted to take a short here, just because this was just a much easier area to attack. And then I didn't think we were going to have the volume to then fight back against the liquidity that we had here. So which is exactly what happened. We pushed down to the 3-day low now. So yeah, PopCat just creating absolutely beautiful 15-minute candles. No reason to close whatsoever. No scares at all. Even when we closed underneath here, we had this like slight little pushback up inside. Before just rejecting it and pushing even lower and just making it look beautiful, coming to the original level, and this was our target. Now what we decided to do was, you know what, it makes sense now to take our target lower, because Bitcoin had yet to even take this level out yet, and it was about to close a nice 15-minute candle below the level as well. And Ethereum was looking super good as well. Now what I ended up doing was closing half of the position, not on an immediate sweep of Ethereum taking this level, but once PopCat started to show a little bit of oh no, sorry, it's actually a little bit later. I think I closed here at about 3.8%. Yeah, 3.8%. So it was in this range here. So probably a little bit premature, getting a little bit shaky, I guess, but it was just in such good profits that I just didn't want to kind of give myself any reason to give back a lot of the money. So decided to close. Is obviously you can't go broke taking profits, and taking profits is never a bad thing, right? So, but yeah, what I started to see was Bitcoin was doing this really aggressive move to the downside. And these 4 candles alone, it was a 1% move to the downside, right? And Ethereum was following as well. But as you can see with PopCat, it was not doing as much of a downside thing. So I was expecting some sort of like short squeeze on PopCat for like 1.5%, and it may continue down, but I didn't want to allow myself to sit through that. I've allowed it to happen so many times in the past, and just round tripped the intraday trade and kept moving my stop loss back up and up and up, and obviously just being undisciplined on the trade and yeah, just not letting it close. But what ended up happening was it did go for the full target, which would have been about 5%. So unfortunately, we obviously did close a little bit early, but I'm not mad at myself. We had a really good trade, and we actually allowed it to take an extra 1.2, 1.5% to the downside from where our original target was in the first place. So yeah, now in future, maybe it was a little bit better to allow myself to. So what I ended up doing is I put the stop loss above the hourly candle wick here, because I didn't want to let the hourly candle turn take the high of the hour basically, and if it took the high of the hour, then I don't want to be in the trade anymore. Now if I did leave it at that position, then we would have continued down, but I also felt like I didn't want to give back 1.5% just to kind of make an extra 1.2%, right? So I ended up closing here a little bit prematurely, but again, Nothing wrong with that, I don't think. In the long term, like just kind of, you're locking in profits. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. So, yeah, really good trade. Account balance is now sitting at $10,404. So we're only $600 away from passing the account. If we have one more trade like that, we've passed, right? So one more 3 to 4% move, and we pass the account. Whether or not we do it in 1, 2, or 3 trades, in terms of like we take smaller moves or whatnot, who knows? But hopefully we can just find another really good opportunity in the market and just get that eBay account passed, and then start working on actually getting some nice cash outs and making some real money, and just going up really, just progressing, which would be really nice. So yeah, that's it for the video today. You're going to see a little bit more of my new trading strategy, or my old trading strategy really, just with like redefined rules, and I'm just a lot more skilled at it now. It just feels a lot good. It's just starting to click for me, which is really good. It's obviously one of the biggest parts of trading, is once you kind of start to learn and understand, it should click. A lot of like professional traders and people that trade a lot will tell you that like at some point it just goes bang, click, and you just kind of understanding the markets a lot better. It's just all about the discipline and the risk management and stuff that you have to fix in the meantime. So yeah, that's it for the video today, guys. I will be trying my best to record and upload as many of the trades I take, because I feel like it keeps me really grounded and disciplined. So yeah, that's it for the video, guys. Take care. Peace.